Here now, Daniel Turner, Power the Future Executive Director. Daniel, great to see you tonight. Looking at these rebate checks and thinking to myself, people don't want to shell out the money and they can't necessarily wait to get a rebate check in the mail. Why can't we actually just do something to bring prices down, like pump more oil?
Yeah, you'll notice in all these proposals, they never include anything to increase our supply, which is the only real and secure and stable way to lower prices down. And this example of New Mexico, I mean, the governor there, Michelle Lujan Grisham, she's in real trouble, and it's an election year. Her state had one of the worst recoveries coming out of COVID. They have one of the highest unemployment rates in the nation. She imposed mask mandates longer than I believe almost every other state except for the city of Washington, D.C. And so this is a political gesture. This is trying to tell the constituents, hey, ignore the fact that I've driven the state into the ground. Maybe if I throw more government money at you, I can get your vote come November.
Right. It doesn't make sense to me because I'm thinking about the government just writing more checks. And we've seen the kind of mess that's already gotten us into. So you think about that aspect of it. And then you think about the amount of state and federal tax that's baked in to the gas price, too. Wouldn't it be easier? And some states are considering this, suspending those taxes, at least for the interim. So, like I said, instead of waiting for a rebate check, when you fill up at the pump, it's just cheaper.
Yeah, exactly. No, there are ways that we can go about combating the rising prices. Obviously, like I said, increasing the supply is the best. But these political decisions are going to have real consequences. You mentioned inflation again. The reason why we have this inflation is because the runaway government spending. So what's the solution? More government spending. The reason why we have really high oil and gas prices is because of government action that's punished the industry. So what's the response? Throw more government spending at it. So again, we're tired of these politicians who are proposing solutions that they don't solve the problem. They just exacerbate the problem and they give them something to run on in November. I'm glad you mentioned what Congress is deciding because clearly Congress is in an election year and the Democrats don't want to win the House and don't want to lose the House and the Senate. So we're going to see a whole myriad proposals that are just outlandish and awful because people want to keep their elected jobs, and that's not a solution. That's more of DC the same.
Most Americans would tell you they believe in fueling the future with alternative energies, but they don't see that as a reality for another 25 or 30 years. In the meantime, they don't want to throw the fossil fuels out with the proverbial bathwater. And so you say to yourself as well, we have some of the cleanest energy here in this country, certainly cleaner than what we could be getting from Venezuela, certainly cleaner than what we get from OPEC and other countries too. Why is it that this administration is just completely willing to throw American oil and gas under the bus like this?
Yeah, and you're raising a great point. The only way for the green industry to have success is to premise everything on a lie. And it's a lie that we are a polluted country. It's a lie that we have contamination in groundwater and bad air and bad land. We don't. We're probably the cleanest country in the world. It's a lie that renewables are this panacea that can solve things tomorrow. It's a lie that green jobs are coming online. We heard that from Barack Obama for 8 years.
Yeah.
We didn't see green jobs, right? So we need to stop buying into these lies, stop punishing an industry the American people know works and is successful, and celebrate fossil fuels and what it does for our economy, our prosperity, and now we're seeing our national security.
National security, excellent point. Daniel Turner, great to see you. Thank you for your time tonight.